Hey, welcome back to our P2P membership. We're working with resistance bands again today. So in this case, I have the band externally attached. So you need something solid that's not going anywhere, like a 50 or 70 pound kettlebell. Something like a bedpost can work, a railing, a solid stair railing that's not going anywhere, a solid door handle that also the band's not going to slide off. You got to make sure that it's, of course, attached so that you do these exercises safely, first of all. Our assessments today, we're going to start out with a single leg balance. So I want you to get on one foot and just see how comfortable you are on the single leg. If you're really stable, try some side-to-side head movement and get a feel for how much wiggling does that create then in the foot and how long can you stay there. Can you stay there for 10 seconds, 15 seconds? Get a baseline. And then the other foot, of course, going back to balance, get established. You can add in head movement if you're feeling pretty stable with it. And you could go up and down with the head movement or side-to-side rotations. It's up to you. Let's go ahead and go into a forward bend next. So I'm going to lock my knees, put my feet together, and then reach forward. And I'm going to just do a couple of these to warm it up. How far can I get down as I reach towards the floor? And so get a baseline there for range of motion. The first movement that we're going to do today is, again, outside attached or anchored band. And we're going to do hip circles in an hourglass fashion. So if you think about the hips going one direction, like the bottom of an hourglass, the head going the opposite direction, like the top of an hourglass, we're going to draw one circle up top, one circle around the hips and pelvis. So I'm going to do two setups here where I'm facing my attachment point. So stepping into the band, I'm going to make sure that I'm anchored securely again. And then with a little tension here, I'm going to first start with a neutral stance. So my feet pointing straight forward. From there, lengthening through the spine. And we're going to bring the hips one direction, head opposite. And you could go 5, 10, if these feel really good, maybe 15 or 20 reps. And then go the other direction. And then remember, as we retest, if you find drills that are really good for you, those are great to work in 3 to 5 times a day, just 3 to 5 repetitions. So it doesn't have to take long, but doing it consistently throughout the day can really help boost your energy levels, your performance. So let's retest. After doing hip circles facing the attachment. Let's see on range of motion. Definitely an improvement there for me. Let's recheck your balance as well. And maybe not actually as awesome on the balance. There we go. Sometimes it just takes a second to settle into it, so test your other leg. And foot's wiggling a little bit, so give yourself a grade maybe on that reassessment for balance and for range of motion. Now we're going to do another hourglass pattern where we're facing away from the attachment. Of course, you could anchor on the sides if you wanted, more variations to work on. You could have a lateral pull. If you know which side you need more work on for balance, you could actually have the band pull you that direction. That's going to activate the cerebellum more on that side. So in this case, it's pulling me to the right. That would be somebody that needs more help with right leg balance. For me, I know my left leg is typically the one that needs more help, so I would actually want to turn around and have the band pulling me left while I did my hourglasses. Today, we're going to keep it simple, do facing towards and facing away from the attachment. So one more. I'm going to give you another variation here too with the feet. So you can turn your feet in or you could turn your feet out. I'm going to work on feet in for this one. And just because that creates a little decompression on the SI joint, and I know that can be a really nice stimulus for hips and SI. So we're going to bring the hips again one direction, head goes opposite in that hourglass pattern. And you're getting that gentle pull or tug with the band. Or if it's a really strong band, maybe it's a really strong pull and you're really working on driving hip extension now this way. Let's go back into reassess. So test forward bend again, lock the knees. And you could do 1 or 2. That's about the same for me as last time. Maybe a little bit better on the second one. So going back to balance, let's reestablish, get settled into that foot first, and then you could add head rotations if you need to. And then switch legs. Good. So give yourself a grade on how stable that foot is, with or without the head movement. And of course, always be in a safe area where you have something that you can hold on to and nothing around you that could be dangerous if you didn't feel super balanced with one of these variations. Really good. All right, so getting a good reassessment. If that's same for you, note it down and make sure that that's just a consistent part maybe of what you practice throughout the week. So 3 to 5 reps, a few times a day with some of your other high payoff drills. The next one that we're going to work on is an outside attached side hip circle. So in this case, I'm going to anchor the band around the ankle, and then staying tall, a little tuck in the tailbone, I'm going to bring the leg out to the side. And what happened here is I got slack now in the band when I go to that side position, so I actually need to step over a little bit more, create more tension so that I keep tension on the band the whole time I go through this hip circle. I'm going to turn the foot in, and then I'm going to go into the hip circle. This is just the position that I want to retrain the most in my hip. I know I have less internal versus external hip rotation. So I want to try to work on maintaining that internal rotation while I go through the hip circle and get all those muscles around the hip to turn on and turn off and develop motor control in that internally rotated position. That's just going to be good for the rest of the lower body, kinetic chain, to get better at absorbing force and learn a better map for that internal rotation position. So on the other side, I'm going to stay facing the camera, but now I'm going to change the pull. So now I'm going to get more pull on the external rotators and abductors in the hip. Of course, I could do the other two versions where I'm getting pull medially on the left leg, and then of course that other leg getting more pull on the outside of the hip. So remember, there's 4 versions here. I'm going to cover 2 for sake of facing you. And we're going to, again, if that internal rotation is tighter for you versus external, I encourage you to try to hold internal. If external is tighter, hold that. And then we're going to need a little adjustment, bring the leg up to the side. So the foot goes to the side, and that's why it's called a side hip circle. Do a few reps, switch direction. Work on smooth controlled transitions here. Switch direction and rest and take a break. Let's reassess on that. So significant improvement for me again. So I know that those hip circles, internal rotation out to the side, good drill to come back and work on. Let's check balance as well. And again, if you need head movement to challenge yourself a little bit, you can add that. And then switch in sides. All right, really good, great work. So hopefully you got a couple high payoff drills from today. We did the hip hourglasses, and both with the feet neutral, and then the feet turned in, internally rotated. And then we did our side hip circle. So we did those in the past, of course, without the band. Now we're adding load to it, increase the load to increase the learning. Hope you got some good results from that, and look forward to seeing you in the next P2P Pain to Performance video. Thanks.